Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Mystery Recaps. Today, I will show you the 2019 horror mystery film Midsummer. There are spoilers ahead. Watch out and be cautious. Danny is concerned for her parents, who are not answering the phone. She rereads her sister's ominous message on her computer. He tells her that she is putting too much thought into her sister's email, and that it is likely an attention-seeking maneuver. It sounds as though he does not comprehend that her sister has bipolar disorder, even though Danny is crying. She continues to agree with his viewpoint. After the call, she paces her apartment while discussing her boyfriend with a friend. Her friend tells her that if he feels this way, he may not be the one for her. During the call, she sends her sister another email. She abruptly receives a second call from a number. Christian, the boyfriend of Danny, is conversing with his friends about Danny's girlfriend. They recommend that he leave her because she is too controlling, but he fears that if he does so, he will later regret it. He abruptly leaves the table to answer another call from her. Christian answers the phone, only to hear her screaming and sobbing on the other end. He walks to her apartment and is later seen consoling her as she continues to sob uncontrollably over the death of her entire family. Firemen are seen breaking into her parents' house. They discover their bodies in their own bed. Her sister committed suicide and took them with her. Later, Danny is depressed and lying on her bed. Christian enters and informs her that he will attend a party. She says she'll join him, despite the fact that he's not particularly enthusiastic about it. Danny's interest is piqued at the party by a conversation between her boyfriend and his friends Pele, Josh, and Mark regarding the summer trip to Sweden they had been planning. The trip is in 2 weeks, and this is the first time she has heard about it. She confronts him at her apartment, demanding to know why he didn't tell her. Danny does not comprehend why Christian was not candid with her, despite his attempts to skirt the issue. She has no objection to his going on the trip. She tells him she doesn't need an apology, just honesty, after he apologizes. Danny softens, concerned that he will leave, and then inquires whether he will be leaving due to his thesis. He is still unaware of what that will be. Eventually, Christian is socializing with his friends, and they are discussing Sweden. While waiting, Danny calls him to inform him that she'll be up in a moment. Christian informs them that he invited her, but she declined the invitation, despite the fact that she said yes. However, they promise to act as if they were aware of the invitation, and as they have no objections to it. When Danny arrives, they all greet her politely, but behave extremely awkwardly towards her. Mark invites Christian into the other room. Pele converses with Danny, whereas Josh ignores her completely. Pele shows her photographs of previous celebrations, and she is extremely impressed. Suddenly, he turns to her and says with complete sincerity that he is thrilled that she will accompany him. In addition, he expresses his condolences for the loss of her parents and explains that he can empathize because he also lost his parents. Danny becomes upset and dashes to the restroom on the flight to Europe. Danny sobs in the restroom. They arrive in Sweden and drive to Pele's village, which is located somewhere in the country's north. The group pauses in a field where all the other returning youth have gathered. Ingmar, Pele's brother, greets him and introduces him to his friends, Simon and Connie. Ingmar provides them with mushrooms, which they all consume. Even though Danny is initially resistant, later they sit beneath a tree and experience the drug's effects. Mark is not enjoying himself. Pele guides them through the experience by describing the surrounding environment. Danny freaks out after hearing distant singing. As she passes a group of individuals, they all laugh at her. Ingmar attempts to comfort her, but she flees to the restroom. Danny smiles and takes in the place's tranquil ambience while taking it all in. Pele greets one of the elders who enthusiastically welcomes them. He informs them that the official celebrations will begin the following day. Suddenly, music draws their attention and leads them to the center of the village. The elder Seb wishes everyone a happy midsummer and welcomes them all to the festival. In the meantime, Maya is observed getting ready in the lavatory. The music begins to play outside, and she joins the party. She observes the group seated on the sidelines as the other villagers dance around them. Later, as she passes Christian during the dance, Maya kicks his derriere. He and Josh go to participate. Pele gives Danny a birthday present and informs him that Christian forgot to give it to her. She expressed gratitude for the portrait. Pele gives the group a tour of the village and answers Joshua's questions about the community. After a while, they observe a few children having a lesson in the grass, and he explains that they are learning about the ancient ruins' potency. Tony asks Danny and Christian how long they've been together, to which they each respond differently. Danny explores the building and discovers a wall of photographs with May coins. Pele informs Christian that he has forgotten her birthday. Danny inquires about the wall, prompting the entire group to approach it. Christian calls her outside and begins to sing happy birthday while attempting to light a birthday candle. The first lie he tells her is that he didn't forget but got confused due to the constant daylight. When she sees through him, however, he apologizes and she extinguishes the candle. That evening, as everyone prepares for bed, Pele informs them that the first day of the festival is crucial. Josh is aware of the reason, but neither he nor Pele share it with the rest of the group. Christian wishes to search for it, but his cell phone is without service. The two of them sit down, followed by everyone else. Joshua asks if they are they, and Pele affirms that they are. The couple begins eating, and the others quickly follow. Mark observes a girl he likes sitting on the opposite side of the table. Danny speaks with one of the women, who informs him that everyone raises the infants. Josh stands next to Pei and inquires if he can read the scrolls that an elder is reading out of the elderly man and woman. When their hands are sliced open, they use their blood to paint ancient ruins. The woman is the first to appear atop the cliff. She leaps and then falls to the ground. Danny is utterly stunned. Ingmar attempts to calm Simon and Connie, who are hysterical. Then the man also appears on the cliff. He leaps, but lands on his feet and survives. He is fatally struck with a wooden hammer. Steve explains the custom to the foreigners, who are panicking. She wants them to understand that it is a great joy for them, and that it will be the same for her when it is her turn. He informs him of his decision to focus his thesis on the village. Christian already knew that Josh would write his thesis on the Midsummer festival. Angering Josh, he advises him to discover his own subject and passion rather than adopt his. Christian, however, is adamant. He offers to collaborate with him on the thesis or to write separate theses on the same topic. The elders are very protective of their rituals, and they will not allow Josh or Pele to write about the village. He informs them that he will speak with the elders in an effort to get him off his back. While Danny is packing frantically, Pele approaches her to speak. His parents perished in a fire when he was a child. However, he has found a new family within the community, and he intends to give it to her because she deserves a real family. Later that day, the bodies of the elderly couple are ritually disposed of. Christian checks on Danny, but she asks whether or not he was disturbed by what they witnessed. He states that he was, but that cultural differences are to blame and that they should attempt to adapt to the community's customs. That night, she requests a sleeping pill from Josh, but is still awoken by noises in the middle of the night. Empty beds surround her, so she follows a few individuals outside. Then she observes Christian and his companions departing. She screams, and images from the ritual begin to appear in her mind, one after another, until she sees an image of her family at the base of the cliff. She is experiencing a nightmare. Maya is in fact awake. She approaches Christian's bed and places an object underneath it. Josh witnesses her conduct. Danny is the only individual to sleep in on the second day of the festival. Pele is gardening when he is approached by Mark and Josh. He informs Josh that he is permitted to write his thesis, but that he cannot use any real names or the location. Additionally, he must collaborate with Christian. Pele informs Josh that the object left by Maya under Christian's bed is a lover. Connie dashes into the cabin and announces to Danny that she and Simon are leaving. One of the elders informs her that her fiancé has already left and will be waiting for her at the train station. She is horribly distressed and cannot believe he would abandon her. Danny informs Christian about Simon, but Christian appears unconcerned and continues talking about community acceptance of mates. The child with a disability has written the final draft. He draws on the blank pages, and the elders interpret what he has created. The elder informs him that all of their oracles are divinely inspired. inbreeding so that their minds are clear and open to the source. Mark searches the sacred temple for the woman he admires. When a child invites him to dinner, meat pies are served. Danny asks if anyone has seen Connie, and a villager replies that he drove her to the train station to meet Simon. Danny cannot comprehend how he could have abandoned her in such a state, and comments that she could see Christian doing that. The man that got upset about Mark pissing on the tree is still angry about it. Josh and Christian argue as well. Suddenly he gets hit over the head. The disabled child approaches the unconscious. Josh wearing Mark's face. Christian wakes up the next day and sees that Josh is gone from his bed at breakfast. Danny asks about Mark and Josh, but he says that he's not too concerned. One of the elders proclaims that the scroll had been stolen and asks that it gets returned safely after breakfast. Two of the elders approach Christian, and Danny's saying that it's suspicious that two of their friends ended up missing the same day. Christian throws Josh under the bus, but Pell says that he feels responsible. Danny is sent off with the other women, and Christian has to go to meet with Seth. A specialty gets prepared for the young women of the village, which Danny drinks as well. The ritual, which they call the competition, is about to begin when Danny realizes that the tea probably had mushrooms in it. An older woman proclaims the beginning of the competition, and the women start dancing in a circle. Meanwhile, Christian is at home, looking at the iconography on her walls. They sit opposite one another, and she immediately tells him that he had been approved to meet with Maya. When she suddenly starts speaking in Swedish with one of the other girls as they laugh and dance, the other two run into each other. Danny is the only one left. Everyone stands up and circles her. The older woman crowns her as the May Queen. She gets her picture taken, and as they walk her away, Pell comes over and kisses her. They lift her in the air and take her to the table. Danny sits at the head, and everyone follows her every move. When Christian sits down, she begins to eat, and everyone else does as well. He doesn't understand what's happening and starts feeling the effects of the tea. The entire village cheers for the Queen. They tell her that she's part of the family now. Maya calls Christian to follow her into the barn, and Danny notices that there's something happening. Steve tells Danny that she has to bless their crops as the Queen and doesn't allow Christian to come with her. She enters a carriage, being pulled by some of the young women from the village as she's driven away. Christian gets asked to go to the barn again as the rest of the villagers stand for him. Danny blesses the crops in a traditional ritual, while Christian is being prepared by the elders to meet with Maya. They drug him again and leave him in where the girl is waiting for him together with other women. Danny is still performing the blessing ritual. Christian makes love to Maya as the other women sing to her and to him as well. She freaks out and the other women start mimicking her cries. Christian is done with his part of the ritual and storms out of the barn. He gets confused and disoriented, trying to run away when he sees a foot planted in the garden. Christian hides in a shed where he finds Simon's dead body. An elder sneaks up on him and drugs him again. They cut open the bear's body and place a still living Christian inside it. The elders bless the offering and distribute medication to the two villagers. The temple is ceremonially set ablaze with the entire community gathered outside to witness the sacrifice. Everything within is consumed by fire, and the villagers convulse and weep, feeling their people's pain within themselves. The May Queen gazes upon the ablaze temple with a final grin. Be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can view similar videos. Thank you for viewing.